Yeah, you know what? Like, if I look back through my life, there's so many times that I should either be dead or in jail. I mean, if I go back to when I was living in Tenerife, I remember we were bringing ecstasy tablets from Holland through Spain to Tenerife, which is in the Canary Islands, which is part of Spain. For people that don't know, there's several little islands. One's called Tenerife, sort of off the west coast of Africa, but part of Spain. It's a beautiful little island. When I was there, it was kind of very corrupt and crazy, and the nightlife was wild. And one day we had a load of ecstasy tablets, and the driver drove them down to Malaga to get on a ferry to get across to Tenerife, and the ferries were cancelled. So what happened is I jumped on a plane with another fella, and we flew to Malaga, went down to my mate's garage where we were storing these ecstasy tablets in the car, took the dashboard out of the car, got the ecstasy tablets, went down to a kind of a local hotel, and I met the guy that was gonna fly them back to Tenerife in the hotel. Now, I gave him the ecstasy tablets. He was in one apartment, I was in another, and I had this like crazy experience at the time. Like, I didn't really know how to understand it or what to make of it, but it kind of saved me from getting arrested and going to prison. So I'm lying down in my bed the night before we're both supposed to fly back on the same flight to Tenerife the next morning, and I'm lying in bed, and this kind of sheet of glass or light comes over the top of my bed, and my consciousness started to change, and my light came out of my body, and I floated up over this kind of light that had bended over the top of me, and I saw all of these people, and I knew it was an airport, and I had this really sick feeling in my stomach. And anyway, I'm kind of hovering above my body, and my body starts to kind of descend, and it started to fall, and there was this huge big red flower, and I kind of like plummeted into the red flower, but then I was back in my body, and I'm like, this isn't good, something bad's going to happen. So I phoned my mate in Tenerife and said, listen, change the flights. So we got the other guy to fly business class from Malaga to Madrid, and from Madrid back to Tenerife. He took the drugs, he ended up landing safely, everything was fine. I went on the original flight, but I had nothing with me. So anyway, I get off the plane. My friend picks me up. We end up going to a nightclub. We're in the nightclub for about 20, 30 minutes, and then all the lights come on. The music gets shut off, and I don't really speak that Spanish that well, but I know my name. So they read over the microphone my friend's name, my name, called us outside. They stripped our car down, ripped it to pieces. Obviously, we had no drugs. And so something was looking after me that time, whatever it was. And when I look back through my life, there's been so many little incidences like that. I was with a friend of mine. We went to drop off some cocaine in the UK. It was about 11 o'clock at night time, and we're in an X5. I'm in the passenger seat. He's in the driver's seat, and we go into this cul-de-sac, which is one way in, one way out. Drop off the drugs. We're driving back out, and this car pulls up in front of us, and three of the biggest guys you've ever seen in your life get out. One's got a knuckle duster, a chain. One's got a crowbar. One's got a baseball bat. We tried to drive our car around the side, and they ram into the side of our car. Anyway, they're smashing our windows, smashing them like crazy. And these guys are massive, like 20, 22 stone, full of steroids, huge guys. And the windows are going, and they don't break, and they're smashing them for ages. Anyway, people start coming out from their nearby houses because it's 11 at night. It's noisy and obviously quiet, but the racket that they're making. So anyway, they get in their car and they go. The next day, I'm driving the car, and I pull up at a shop. I'm on my own. I leave my mobile telephone on the passenger seat. I go into the shop for a couple of minutes, leave the car. I come out and the window's smashed and my mobile phone's gone. Now that's kind of crazy. I was in there for like, maybe like 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And the windows are broke, like an opportunist to come past, think the window and it's gone. But the night before, these massive dudes, they were smashing the crap out the window and they didn't go through. Anyway, I moved to New Zealand a few years later and I'm driving along in my car one day and I feel this presence next to me and I look and there's this massive warrior, like a huge Portuguese warrior. And he says, "You're right, Jerry." I said, "Yeah." He said, "My name's Kusan." He said, "Do you remember that night in the car?" He said, "I was in there with you holding the windows." And he goes, "If it wasn't for me, the windows would have gone through." And I was like, "Thank you." I didn't know what else to say. So anyway, he was one of my spirit guides, which was me from another reality coming back to help myself. But I've had so many experiences like this, Rod, where, I should have been injured, dead, put in jail, whichever. So yeah, I mean, something was keeping me safe so I could go on this Star Magic mission and help humanity, which is what we're doing there.
All right, let's go to my two favorite topics, which is UFOs and astral projections. So you said that you met some ETs, something along those lines. Could you tell us about what happened there?
Yeah, so I mean, I've had lots of encounters with them, but the one that you're talking about from the book, um, I was in New Zealand. We moved to New Zealand in 2009, and I thought we were going to go there forever. We'd been researching like 2012 and the end of the Mayan calendar, and I met this company called Matrix Institute, and they had these future maps of the world. And on it, it was going to be all these big floods, and New Zealand had like quadrupled in size. The two islands had joined together, and the UK and Europe had gone underwater. So I just bought into all this stuff. So me and the family moved to New Zealand. We thought it was going to be a safe place. Anyway, when we got there, that didn't happen, but so many other things happened. It was such an integral part of my spiritual journey. I met this old fella called Michael. He became such a good friend of mine. We used to sit and talk to Saint Germain every day. He introduced me to Saint Germain. He had a pyramid, a copper pyramid in his garden, and he taught me how to meditate. I used to go around there like every afternoon. We set up a health and fitness center in New Zealand, like a mixed martial arts gym, a strength and conditioning camp. And every afternoon, I used to go around to his place, sit in the garden, and meditate with my eyes open. I had loads of experiences. I mean, some of them are in the book that you've read, but the ET one, this little space pod landed in the garden, and there was a blue being inside of it. So I brought my light out of my body, left my physicalness behind, and went and got in this space pod. And the space pod was just enough for two people or two beings. There was no controls, just all of this kind of light technology. And this being was taller than me. His name was Derekwai, and he's been with me ever since. He didn't tell me his name at the time, but he flew me through this portal. Now, what happened is I'm sat in this space pod, and my consciousness, it kind of goes to the other side of the portal. And it was like the rest of my light body caught up. We flew through this portal for about 4 seconds, 5 seconds maximum. We're out the other side and we're above water. And I get out of the space pod, I walk up the beach, and there's like 200-ish of these blue beings. Now, I'd never heard of Lyrans. I'd never heard of Alpha Centauri. But I knew that we were on Alpha Centauri, and I knew that these blue beings were Lyrans, and they were like my family. So anyway, I walk up the beach, and they come and they hug me. And I felt so much love. Like it's like a love that you just can't muster in this human form. I've experienced this kind of love when I've had other out-of-body experiences and sort of become one with everything. And I've got close on certain medicines and ayahuasca and things like that, but it's never been to this extent. And when they hugged me, I just felt like I was home. I just started downloading information like how they got pregnant and, the foods that they ate and just different things like this. And just bits of information were coming into my consciousness. So anyway, they hugged me. They kind of then let go and parted and made this sort of walkway up the beach. And one of the beings took me up the beach into these trees. It was like jungle. We went through the jungle, and then there was a building that was made of light, a bit like a pyramid. We've gone in, and in this building, there was this really ancient blue being. I mean, they all looked really young. Like even the old ones looked really young, but this one just looked ancient, you know? Like, I don't know how many years old it was, but maybe hundreds, thousands. But it was like, it reminded me, if I had to go and meet like a Native American Indian chief, this is what it would I would kind of liken it to from this kind of species. So anyway, I've gone up to meet this being, and it's asked me to kneel down on the floor. So I've knelt down on the floor, and all this orange light started downloading into my crown. And I don't know how long it went on for. It could have been like 5 minutes, it could have been 5 hours, like time just disappeared. As soon as it finished, 2 of these Lyrans picked me up underneath my arms, frog marched me back to the space pod, stuck me back inside. And then they flew me back through the tunnel, back into the garden. I get out of the space pod, walk back over and sit back down in my physical body. And like, I was thinking, wow, this is amazing. Like, what is next? Like, I was like, just wanted the next piece of the puzzle to come, but nothing came, you know, for a couple of years. And then we had to go back to England. I woke up one morning and it was like, you got to go back to England. And that's when the next part of my journey started. But yeah, meeting these Lyrans, they changed everything for me, because they've been guiding me ever since. They told me to write my second book, Healing with Light Frequencies, the transformative power of star magic. They told me to train people. They showed me all the healing centers we've been building. This was in 2016. You know, it's now 2024, and everything that they told me would happen has happened. And at the time, I thought, it sounds like a great plan, but I haven't got a clue how this is going to manifest. But it sounds great, so I'm going to run with it anyway. And I've just sort of followed